We're rocking and rolling. We're
All
here
right,
with
that's what it is.
Karen Hunter Watson today. A hero that I know. Thanks for being here with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
Where are
Phil.
you from?
Originally?
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Awesome.
Yeah, really, it's Maywood, Illinois, suburb of Chicago.
How many years did you spend there?
I stayed there until I was about 33.
Oh, wow. So you spent
Yeah.
a significant
Most of-
period
half
here.
of my life there, and then I moved to the South.
So what was it like? So what years were you growing up there in Chicago?
What years?
Yeah, what like was it the 60s? Was it the
early
70s?
I grew up in the 60s.
Grew up in the 60s?
Yeah. Born in the 50s, grew up in the 60s, you know, when I was old enough to really do anything, 9, 10, 11, 12, and on, yeah.
What was your biggest struggle as a kid? Do you remember childhood? Do you remember, what life was like as a child?
Life was really kind of different for me. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. For me, that meant it was a very strict kind of upbringing. And I was never that type of person. Even as a little one, I was always, I guess, kind of rebellious.
Okay.
So that meant that I took a lot of time to kind of find myself. And in doing so, I got in a lot of trouble a lot of times. You know, not with the legal system or anything like that, but just with my mom and dad always, Karen, do this, Karen, do that. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this,
Right. So
yeah.
you were, so what was one thing you remember getting in trouble for? Do you remember one in particular?
Staying out all night.
Oh.
Yeah, I stayed at my girlfriend's house, and they weren't really happy about that because I didn't let them know. Yeah.
What did you imagine yourself doing when you got older? Did you have dreams as a child of what you wanted to do?
I wanted to be a singer. I've always wanted to sing, and that's what I do.
I'm so proud to have played a little part in an album recently that you've done, and I'm so proud of the work. It is amazing.
Thank you.
You're talented beyond measure. Tell me about, the first kinds of things that you began to sing, or where did you develop that singing talent?
Okay, the singing part of it for me happened when I was the very beginning. I used to sing with my dad. My dad was a professional singer. He was a gospel singer. And I used to sing with him. He'd sit me on his knee when I was a little girl, and we'd sing songs together. I would try to sing, and he would do the singing. But as it went along, I began to sing with him. Then later, I would sing in school. I would sing in the choir, the chorus at school. But I wasn't able to sing during holidays because of the upbringing I had as a Jehovah's Witness. They didn't believe in Christmas.
Oh, right.
And my favorite music to sing was Christmas songs. So I didn't get a chance to sing those, but every now and then when I sneak and do it. Later, as I got a little older, like 12, 13, 14, then I would go to my aunts in Evanston, Illinois. My family lived in Evanston. And they were very church-going people. And so they were Baptists, and oh, did I love the Baptist music. I love that singing. Oh my gosh, I would just have so much fun because they'd let me go. When I was with them, that's their rules. When I'm at home, that's mom and dad's rules. So I could go then, and we lived like they lived like 3 doors from the church. So I spent a lot of time in the church. I had a lot of time in that. So that's where a lot of my music, came from.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Was there any particular struggles that you had growing up other than like with your parents? Was there middle school rivalries or high school loves, or, tell me about those kinds of things.
Well, I wasn't very popular in school. I was and that's not trying to, push my own buttons, but I was very smart. I would, excel in most of the classes, and the ones that I wanted to be friends with were the ones that were not that smart, and they wanted to hang out. So because of that, I wasn't able to do it, and they would pick on me. Oh. So they'd run me home from school, and I was taught not to fight, until finally I said, I can't do this anymore. So I began to fight back. And when I began to fight back, I never got in trouble. I never was in the principal's office or anything like that, but I stopped them from picking on me.
Amen.
Yeah.
You stood up for yourself and
Yeah,
said, hey.
I finally had to do that, you know.
Well, good, good.
Yeah.
You said you were smart. What was your favorite things to study?
Oh, I love words. I've always loved words and numbers. I love math. I love spelling. I like social studies. It wasn't my favorite. English, awesome, you know, those kinds of things. Science, so-so. But mostly anything that had to do with words, learning about, you know, the social studies part was good. It got better when I got old, you know, further in school. But the math was my favorite, and words were my favorite.
Do you remember the first song or poem that you wrote?
Oh, the first song, my gosh. That I wrote, no. The first song that I remember singing, I must have been about, that I can remember singing, I must have been about 6 or 7 years old, on my own, not with my dad. And there was a song, because I had a little boyfriend that I liked, about 7 years old. And this was before we came to Illinois, so I was in Michigan. And the song went, I love little Billy, I do, mama, I love little Billy, I do. That was the song I used to sing a lot. That's, I think, the first one I can remember singing.
I love it. And that's why your mom is like, oh no, we got to watch out for Karen.
Right, already, exactly.
She likes the boys.
Exactly. That was funny.
Oh. So what did you do, you know, through high school? Were you a cheerleader or on the chorus? I think you said you did a lot of that.
I did that when I was in what they call middle school.
Okay.
Because when I got to high school, I spent 1 year in high school, and I dropped out of school.
Oh,
because
really?
I was like 15, and that's when I had my first child. And at that time, they wouldn't let you go to school and be pregnant, so I was out of school. And I never chose to go back because I enjoyed school. School enjoyed me, but I wasn't popular. I wasn't the kind to get along with people for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. Later in life, people told me it was because people were jealous of my talents.
Probably,
I didn't know anything about that. I just knew that I liked doing what I liked to do, you know. So I ended up getting a GED and going on to school that way, but I didn't. I spent 1 year in high school. 1, 2 years, yeah, about 1 year in high school.
Tell me about being 15 and with child.
I had, how do I put that? Well, I guess I could really start from before that. I was never a promiscuous kind of person. And I've said this, I have a book called My Journey to Myself, and I've spoken about a lot of this. But I was raped when I was 12 because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And because of that, it got me to a point where I had to get out there. And it's like some people take things one way, it shuts them down. And then other people, it makes them go the opposite direction. For me, I went the opposite direction. And because of that, I was out there, you know, in a sense of speaking. So this is one of the reasons, I guess, that I didn't stay in school, because it was really too hard.
Right.
You know, some of the reasons I gave before were some. These are the other reasons. So at the time I was out there, I met my oldest son's father, and that's when I got pregnant. Being pregnant at that age, as strict as my parents were, you can't stay here. That's just out. You cannot be here and be pregnant. So what did that mean?
Oh,
that
wow.
meant I had to leave. That meant I had to either get married or be out there on my own. I couldn't do it on my own. I wasn't that strong at that time. So I ended up getting married. I married the baby's father, and we stayed with his family. And that was very uncomfortable. It was very bad because he was a violent person, bottom line. He liked to fight all the time. And because of that, my life was not very happy. I didn't have a very happy pregnancy. By the time I had my oldest son, I was like, I think I'd had him for about, I don't even think he was 6 months old. He was very young. I can't do this anymore. And I left. Then I was on my own. Then I began to live the life that I wouldn't want to talk about now, but it brought me to where I am now.
Amen,
You
right?
know, so I did some things out there that I'm not very proud of. Like I said, I didn't spend lots of time behind bars or anything like that. I wasn't, and I wasn't stealing. I wasn't doing stuff like that. But I was just being the person that I thought I wanted to be at that time and doing what I thought I had to do, because this is what you have to do to survive. So I survived. And some of my music later came of that. I have survived. I have survived. I listened to people's songs. It's like, yeah. And you start talking and singing about the things that you experienced. So I did.
Tell me about some of the sunshine. Tell me about some of the good days. You know,
Oh.
you just explained some things that were tough. And
Yeah,
tell me about
yeah.
how the sun came
Oh,
through.
okay. When music did that for me, for the most part. And then meeting people later that were, okay, let me go past those ages and go to probably about, okay, having my family come to my rescue, not my immediate family, mother and father, but my cousins and my uncles and those kinds of family come to my rescue to, say it's okay, no, you can't treat her like this, that kind of thing. That was very good for me. And it helped me to be able to see life a little differently and see people a little differently. Whereas also, when I had my first spiritual experience, when I had my first experience, what I call being with the Creator, and that came when I got baptized, but really it was when I was very young. And like I said, my parents grew up Jehovah's Witnesses, and their belief system, and I'm not talking bad about them. I'm just saying they had a different way of looking at things. They had a different perspective of things that I just wasn't comfortable with. Well, in their line, they said that a person does not get baptized until a child does not get baptized at birth.
Right.
They get baptized when they feel they can, make that decision themselves. And I made that decision when I was 12. I said, I want to be baptized. So I did. And I remember when I went in the water, and I remember feeling like life was just, I felt like I was, if there was a way to explain heaven, that's the way it felt for me. So I said, wow. And when I came up, I was like, man, that was awesome. Now, I've never learned how to swim. I don't go in the water. I'm not a water, I love the water, but just that instance, did that for me. So later in life, I was always looking for that experience, that awesome experience. And during some of the times when things were very hard, I would sit in by myself somewhere, and I would just imagine that instance and that being. And when I would find that space, it would just be, wow. And I didn't realize then, but that was the Spirit of the Divine within me, the Spirit of God moving in me, because I'm no place away from that. God is right here, always. And because I finally learned that in words, it was much later. But I always knew it in body and spirit, because it was always there. There were times when there was danger, severe. I almost got run over by a big semi-truck. I was getting ready to step into the street, and I heard loud and clear within my being, step back. And I stepped back, and this zoom. I said, whoa, So it's like, Spirit has always been there, but some of the things, I believe like this. I believe that the God that I serve, God that I know, which is the God of the universe, is connected to all things. And that God allows you to make the choices, allows me to make the choices in my life. So I chose all that stuff to go through. I made the choice as a kid, I'm going to be bad, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. As a young adult, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And by the time I was 33, I said, I'm through. I must have been about 32 years old. And I made the choice, I don't want to do stuff like that. I want to do things that are going to take me on the upside. I want to be happy. When I'm in church, happy time, I was happy. I was glad. Oh my gosh, I love the music. We used to go, I made the choice to go to the Baptist church, they like to sing you know, a little bit, and they clap their hands, they do that. But the Pentecostal church, they like to really get down. They like to dance, they like to move, and I like that because I like music, you know, and it was fun for me. And then later I said, but no, they have so many rules. And I'm a free spirit. I can't be bound by rules. God's rules, but not church rules. And so I began to be that free spirit. And in being a free spirit, I was able to find the God in me, find the happiness. I'm happiest when I'm connected to spirit, knowing and alive in that spirit and doing the things that bring joy. And music and beautiful flowers, nature, those kind of things bring me joy. You know, people that are doing wonderful things, that are happy and joyful, I enjoy being around. Those that are sad, I want to lift them up. You know, so it brings me joy.
Tell me about your heroes. Who is it that took their time to mentor you? Who do you look up to?
Amelia Boynton Robinson was one of my mentors. This was when I was older, and I just loved that woman. She was such an example for me of what it means to have gone through something in life, not been really liked or appreciated, but yet went on to be someone that people looked up to and did things that helped other people. She liked to help children. She was a civil rights worker. She believed in the rights for all people. And I thought she was just the most wonderful person there was. I looked up to musicians like Nancy Wilson. I didn't know her life. I just knew what I saw. And what I saw was a person that was doing what she wanted to do, was singing the music that she liked. I don't know what went on behind closed doors, but that was what, you know, that's what looked good for me. I had a teacher once in school she was oh my God, I'll never forget her. I was very young then. I think I was in the 7th grade, 6th or 7th grade. And she was like, you can be anything. You can be anything you want to be. I don't care what it is. If you want to be the President of the United States, you can do that. She said, because you have it inside you. She said, you look right there, look right here, right here. She said, it's in you. In here, it's in you, okay? And she used to do things like that, and I was like, I don't think they would probably allow them to do it now. I don't know. But during that time, you could do stuff like that. And she would tell me, don't worry about those kids. They're just jealous because you're smart. And she would just encourage me to be smart. I was very athletic during that time. I'd run faster than anybody, jump higher than anybody. You keep doing what you're doing. Unfortunately, I couldn't because I hurt my leg at an early age, and I wasn't able to follow up in the sports. But academics, I could do it on my own, and that's what I did.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Who are you a mentor to? Is there anyone that, you know, obviously you have to mentor your children in a way, and of course I want to get to you bragging about your kids because that's an easy question. But right now, who is it that you've taken under your wing over the years? Is there
one particular person? No, just young women in general. When I meet them, they become daughters to me, you know. And when in that respect, not that they're there all the time, but that when they need help, to call on me for advice and things like that, or to watch my life and see how, you know, I've come to be able to talk to them and show, you know, to share with them the things that have been helpful for me. That's what I do. Young women for the most part. But what I've found is young men are attracted to me. And for that reason, that means that I guess I'm a mother figure for them. So there's young men that I'm a mother figure to, and young women that I'm sometimes a mother figure, but mostly a big sister and a mentor to.
Where does your sense of style come from? You're such a stylish, put together. When you step out into public, you just look like just a gorgeous, you know, statue of beauty.
I thank you for that, but I don't know. I know it's been there when I was when I was a little girl sitting with my cousin. I will never forget. We must have been about 6, 7 years old, and we were playing with our dolls, you know, And my aunt was getting ready to go out, and oh, I know what it was. She went out and bought us some little dresses. And I knew that I liked and that I didn't like. So I ended up with the little dress that I liked, and I was really cute, and I felt cute, and I wanted to be cute. So I've been wanting to be cute ever since I was 6 years old.
I love it.
And so whenever I mean, I wanted to be together. I don't want to just do something, you know. I'm artsy, yes, so it's not going to be like everybody else, but it has to be together.
You went through a time in your life where, you know, you didn't know whether tomorrow was going to show up for you, right?
Yeah, you're
you
right.
went through some dark physical, medical issues,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes.
Right?
Yes.
What was that like?
My first experience with that was we were on the walk. I don't know, many people have heard that I walked around the world, okay? I've been on several walks. This particular walk, this was the World Walk. And I was in, let me remember where I was. I think it was Australia. But anyway, I was diagnosed with cancer. At that time, it was someplace, it was in my breast on my left side. And I couldn't get the work done there because they wanted me to wait until I went to, see, that's the thing, these countries kind of evade me during that time, that space.
I bet,
and
if
I
you're
don't
walking
think
around the
about-
world.
But, but by the time I got to, I think, where was I? But anyway, this particular country was known for their expertise in cancer, you know, survivors. And so I was able to go there and have the cancer removed. They wanted me to stay for radiation. I said no. I said, I'm walking around the world and I have to keep going for the Netherlands. That's where we were, in the Netherlands. And I had to continue to go forward. I was on the walk, God called me to it. They're going to the next country, I'm going to the next step.
Right.
That's it. And that's what I did. So then some years later, when I was back at home in the United States, I was diagnosed with cancer again. And this time it was in my throat. I had throat cancer. Now this time they could not do the chemotherapy. I mean, I'm sorry, they could not do the operation. So I had to go through chemotherapy, and I went through that. The way that I went through that, and this is kind of, it's fun for me. The way that I went through that, I had a song. I remember one time stepping outside and looking into the sky, and I saw this golden picture. It was so beautiful, and it was pouring golden light, and it was liquid. And I said, wow. And I think, and everything is a song for me. And I said, liquid light, flow through me both day and night. Thank you for your healing power, healing me this very hour. And every time I say that now, but I'll say, liquid light, flow through me both day and night. Thank you for your loving power, filling me this very hour. And I feel it come all the way up through my being. And so during the time when I was going through cancer, first of all, I didn't hang around people. I didn't sit around and listen to everybody talking about woe is me. No, woe is me. No. Because I know a God that is a healer, and I know the Spirit can do anything. So I would get into myself someplace, I'd find a corner, some place to sit. And, you know, if someone sat by me, I would just be in my bubble. And I would just, you know, if they could enter that bubble, then we could talk because they were talking about something that was productive. Most of the time it was just, they would be quiet, I would be quiet. And so this is the way I went through. When I went through chemotherapy, I would have that liquid light flow through me. And I would be laying there with everything going on, sitting in the chair all of this is going on. And then I would go to sleep. And then I would just go to sleep in that liquid light. So when I'd come out, Audrey, my partner, used to always tell me, she said, you know, you are really different. I would be just as happy. And I'm like, you're really strange. But she said, but I understand it. I know what it's like. And then I would come home and I wouldn't remember a lot of stuff because it kind of took, you know, it was like, I guess some of that stuff I just didn't want to remember.
Right.
And so I didn't. And when I'd come home, I'd go to sleep and I'd sleep it off and I'd be going ready for the next time I did. And I think I went through 9 weeks of that. So that was like once or twice a week for 9 weeks. And I would just stay in that bubble, that liquid bubble of liquid light. And I would say, I know God's got me. God's got this. You know, I can't do anything with this. Spirit has me. And that's what I used to hold on to.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Tell me about you talk all around it. Tell me about your spirituality. Tell me how your spirit manifests. Tell me about that.
Okay. My spirituality, first of all, I'm not, how do I put that? I believe that I am one with the divine being of all beings. I believe that all of us are connected to that divine light. I call it light. I believe that that being that we call God is everywhere, always present. So if that means that it's everywhere at all times, that means I'm a part of that everywhere at all times. That means that I can be everywhere present at all times. So I can make the choice because Spirit gave me that choice to make. Spirit brought us, Spirit, when I was born, I came from that being of light into my mother's womb, and I was created. I was born. I came here with the knowing within my being, only in my being, not in my head, that I was a part of everything. I believe that I was a part of making that decision with the spirit realm, in the spirit realm, because I'm a part of everything. So when I came here to this earth plane, I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'd made my mind up. This is the life I'm going to live. This is what I'm going to go through. This is what's going to make me strong. This is what's going to help me to be the person I am. I'm going to hurt here. I'm going to be sad here. I'm going to this and this. It's all right, because when you see it in the light, it doesn't look quite the same. It's a reality, but it doesn't quite look the same, because in the light it's all bright. But I knew when I got here it wasn't going to be there, and I wasn't going to remember. I knew that. In that space I knew that. When I got here I didn't. So I just went through it. Wow. And in going through it, I believe that Spirit led me to the places that I needed to be. It led me through different churches, because that's what I needed to know. I needed to know how people thought. I needed to know how others worshiped God, how others believed in God, and whether or not this was going to be my way. And when I found that it wasn't, I wouldn't stay. So I said, people ask me, well, what is your religion? I said, I don't have a religion. I'm a child, how did I put that? I'm a universal being. My church is the church of the universe. And they were like, oh, okay. But that's what it is, because I can't say I'm Baptist, I'm Methodist, I'm Catholic, I'm Pentecostal, none of those things. I'm a child of God that is here in my earth body, having the experience of being human. And I'm just loving it. You know, I love it. And even when it's sad and it hurts and I have to go through it, I know there's something in me that helps me do that. And I'll cry and I'll be angry, I'll be whatever it is. But I know there's still something in me that's going to bring me through that. So then I don't have to stay. But I have to experience it because it's part of the earth experience. So I don't know if I've explained my spirituality, but I just believe that God is all there is. That would be a new thought thinking. I have a new thought thinking, yes, because God is everything in everyone at all times. It's left up to us what we do with it.
Amen. Who prays for you? Whose list are you on that they pray for you? And then think about, who do you pray for? Who is it that's on your list? And you know, I don't really have a goal for the question other than to think about how blessed we are, right?
Yeah. I would not name names.
Right.
I would say that the people here at Spiritual Enrichment Center of Dothan are always on my prayer list, whether I'm here or whether I'm not. Elders, I pray for elders all the time. For children, for people that I know. I pray for neighborhood communities, you know. I pray for the world, you know, I really do. Because in my prayers, I'm praying for people all around the world. God knows who they are. Who needs this prayer? That's where it goes to. So I just pray for everyone. I pray for my family immediately, my children and my grandchildren, for my, you know, my parents that I no longer have them with me, thanking them for being the angels in my life right now, for those elders that were there that are no longer there. I realized recently that I'm the elder. It's okay. I don't mind that because someone had to be my elder. So I pray for everyone, really, to be quite honestly with you. I pray for the world.
I love it. I love it. The other day, in your neighborhood, at your house, you had what could be considered a catastrophic event. You had trees falling down, or winds of hundreds of miles an hour swirling above your residence. I mean, trees coming down.
Yes.
Tell me about that time.
Well, I was standing in my living room. And well, first of all, I was asleep because it was, I don't even remember the exact time it was. But I was asleep and I heard this noise, and it woke me up. And I realized that I was alone in bed. I'm like, okay, where's everybody? And I got up and I went in the front, and my partner and my son were standing there. And it was like, okay, what's going on? I looked out the window and there's this, they were like, no one could really say anything, but all of a sudden John, Audrey's son, but my son, said, get over here. And he pushed us in a space that was away from the windows. And that's where we were. And next thing we knew, everything was coming down around us. I heard this big, it's a big loud sound. And that's when I knew things had begun to fall. It didn't last very long. It was, I don't know, it felt like forever. But when we were able to come through that part of it and look outside, the bushes, it was a mess. Tree limbs against the window. Looked outside, it looked like a bomb had hit. It looked like a war zone. That's what I would imagine, because I've never been in war. But it felt like a war zone minus the bodies. But the house stood intact. Right. And it wasn't really touched. It was touched, but barely touched. So it was like, God, thank you. And I remember thinking, but all of my nature brothers and sisters are down, because I love the trees. I would go out and talk to the trees all the time on our property. I'd go and hug them and feel them and send love to them all the time. Every tree, I'd go to each tree every day. That was my walk, because I didn't go out walking a lot after, when COVID, during that time. So I would go out and walk the property, just walk. Just walk around all the trees and just hug the trees and touch the trees and I love you, I love you. And that big oak tree stood in front. I used to say I felt so bad because he was so old. I could feel it dying, okay? So it was like I would really give it a really big hug and thank you so much for being here, for giving us shade, for being here on the land. And I mean, I did that all the time. And like I said, when people that are not used to that, if people would see me, they probably think I was crazy, but I'm not. I just love nature, and I think nature's a part of me. So I loved our trees. So when I looked out that window and I saw them all down, it broke my heart. Oh, I was so broken. I said, God, but I was thankful. I said, they loved us enough to fall on the ground, but not to hurt us. And that made my heart, it was so full, Will. It was so full. I said, thank you. I felt for them, but I knew that they had their job to do. And their job, that I found out later, that was a 300-year-old oak. It had been there for 300 years holding the energy for us to come for these 5 or 6 years that we'd been there, and for every person that had ever lived there. And I was just grateful, but I think that it had done its job. And I'll say he because it's so big and so boo that it was a he. Right? There was a mother tree out front, and she's still standing, but she was a young. Right. And she's holding the energy, and she's still there. So I say thank you.
Brag on your family a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me about your family.
Okay. I'm married. I have a wonderful, wonderful partner named Audrey Scott Williams. I have my children, my sons. I have my oldest son is Dennis, and he's in South Carolina, and he's come through his struggles in life, but he's doing well now, and I'm very proud of him. I have my youngest son that is there with us, which I'm grateful for. he and his wife, you know, they're there, and he just gives me the will to keep going forward, to keep going on. You know, if I go through something, it's like, oh my, because he's such a happy-go-lucky person. He just, I don't know that his inside is always that happy, but he shows it on the outside. And he loves to cook, and he's a chef, you know, and he does that. So he and his wife, they have a catering business that they make you know, what do you call it, canning. They can everything. So if you,
Really?
any kind of canning they want, they can do it. So that's what they do. And then I have my sons through Audrey, which her sons is John and Mike and Nick. They came down from Maryland. They came down there to help us clean up all those. They were like, go busters. You guys, I mean, I looked at all the people in the yard, and they were out there just. John, that's with us and stays with us, he's that sergeant, he's that army man, he's that one that gets out there, gets everyone in place and gets things going, and he's like that. His job, you know, he's okay, but he's warm, and he's warm inside, and he's loving, you know, but he knows how to get things done, and that's what he does. Let me see. I don't have any girls. I have the adopted ones, but I don't have any in my immediate. I didn't have girls, I had boys. You know, so, and boy, like I said, men flock to us, but it's all right. You know, we have our adopted sons out there, you know, the ones that help me with my music. You know, I wouldn't, McCoy Ray, genius with music.
Right?
He's a genius. And he's
so
just
much fun.
awesome. Yeah, he's in California. And then there's Jabari, he's a drummer, you know, and he's awesome. He was in, oh my, I can't call the name of the movie now, but it's one that was very popular. But anyway, he did all of the choreography with the drummers and the music in that particular. So they do what they like to do, and then they do other things. But that's the two of my adopted sons. And then, like I said, there's John and Nick, and the grandchildren. I have, oh God, Audrey has 17 grands, so I don't even try to name them. I just know there's a lot of them.
A lot of
then
them.
by myself, I have 5. So then I have, you know, my daughter-in-laws, and we have a menagerie of children. What can I say? And grandchildren that we love. Yeah.
Tell me about your activism. I know Audrey at one point was running for Congress.
Right.
And you were a big supporter of that. You've walked around the world.
Right.
You've done this for some kind of a cause, right? You have a mission in some way, right?
Right, right. When we walked around the world, it was to be able to go and do help people everywhere around the world. What is it that you guys are needing right now? Some places we went and we dug holes, we planted trees, we did farming, we did whatever it was that the country needed or wherever we were. That's what we did. Then here in the United States, there were times when, at one time really big, there was racial kind of things going on in the East. So we went over to the Washington, that area over there, and we would pray with the people. We'd walk the streets and we'd pray. Prayer is always part of what we do.
Yeah.
And we would pray with people all over the world, and all over the country, and all over the state. Whatever state we were called to, we'd go there, we'd do our work. And that's just what we did. And like I said, walking, praying, and community service, wherever we can be of help, we would do that. And during the time when Audrey was running for office, I became a political person. I became get out there, get up people's person. And I'm the kind of person that you would never believe it, but I'm kind of like on the outskirts. I like to do stuff in the background, kind of, sort of. But I'm always pushed out front, so I do what I have to do and go on and do it. And that's what I had to do. I went out and I talked to people, and I told them about Audrey, and I set up her meetings, and I did all of that, and we were on the go all the time. I loved it. I really did. But it was so exhausting. And as we began to get old, as I began to get on my older stage, in my older state of life, then I began to think, I got to do something that's a little less active. And I started doing something that's that I can enjoy more. When I say enjoy, I meant fun kind of things. But to me, an activist is, to me, it's fun because you're helping people that need help. You believe in something so strongly that you're willing to get out there and stand up for it. You're willing to get out there and talk about it. You're willing to get out there and sing about it. We had times when we would, during the time here in Dothan, we would have times when we would, I guess you would call it, I don't know, when Audrey would speak and I would sing, or when something was going on, I'd be there as the music person, or we come there together to just show our face, to be there present, to let you know we stand with you, we believe in what you're doing. You know, we were very active in gay and lesbian rights. You know, it's like people are people. Who you love is your business. It's nobody's business but yours. People seem to differ. That's their prerogative. But don't push it off on me. You know, don't make me responsible for what you believe in. Let me believe in what I believe in. You believe in what you believe in. You do what you do, and I do what I do. If our paths meet, let us be cordial to one another. Let us be the family that we are, because we're all connected. We are all family. There is no family I know that everybody's doing everything that everybody wants them to do. It doesn't work like that. You're over here doing what you like, you're doing what you like, you're doing what you like. You live here, you live there, I live there. That's family. Do I love you? We come together for family reunion. I love you. Yeah, I love you. Do I talk to you on the phone? Some families talk all the time. Some families talk once in a while. Some families see each other once in a while. But you allow your family to be who they are, and you're not trying to make them be anything. Some people do. Some families do. But I believe in a family that allows you to be who you are. You don't have to like it. If you think it's something awful, just pray for me. Don't pray to change me, just pray for me. I'm all right with that. I'll take all the prayers I can get. But I'm going to be who I'm going to be, and I'm going to love who I want to love.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. What is one story that you tell, or maybe you haven't told, that might be beneficial for someone that comes behind you and is watching some memoir of Karen? You know, is there something that affected you or defined you, or something that maybe we haven't heard?
Let me think. I have to really think about that.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
What would define me?
The idea of the question is the thought that, you know, eventually someone that loves you is going to see this, and they maybe have an opportunity to learn something about you that they may never have heard before. You know,
Okay.
they might not have known that about Karen, and maybe there was some uplifting time, or some trial, or some message, or something that.
It feels like I've talked about everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's
it really
great.
does. It feels that way.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Tell me a time you were cold.
Cold? When I was in Chicago.
Yeah, right. Do you remember it being cold up there? The Windy City, huh?
Oh my gosh, I remember being so cold that I remember this one day. I went in the store, and it was snowing. And I was in, I think it was a Woolworths or something like that, some kind of store where you go, like, everything is in there. So I went through the store. When I came out, there was snow up to my knees. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I mean, it was snow everywhere. And all I could do was just try. And see, they didn't really shut down things a lot in there because there was snow all the time. So you had to make your way through it. And so we made our way through it. They were shoveling and stuff. And I went through the snow, and I got on home, and I stayed in for a while. I remember a time in Chicago when I was by the waterfront. And I remember feeling the wind so strong and so cold. It was literally, I had to hang on to a post, and it was taking, if I had let it, I would have been a flagpole. I mean, literally, the wind was that strong.
Mm-hmm.
So weather things have been around me for a long time. And that was, like I said earlier, that's the reason why I moved to the warmer part of the country, because I was tired of that cold. But it seems like now with weather changes and things happening now, it doesn't matter where you are. Some kind of weather, something is going to follow you or be there, you know, so you just have to get used to it.
So the idea of this whole interview is to get our stories told before we're too sick or too old to tell them, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of the
I got
idea.
you. Yeah.
And
I think.
I love the thought and the ability to get to know you more,
Yeah.
right? As we sit here
Yeah.
and you tell me things about what's important to you and what shapes you. Do you have a particular book or a Bible verse or some kind of a mantra that you live your life by? You talked about the
Liquid light.
liquid light.
That's my healing
Yeah,
light.
that's such an awesome mantra
Yeah.
to feel, right? And to
Right,
envelop into your being.
Yeah, I do. I say things like that all the time. I have a little book that I usually carry with me, and I have, I use the I am in front of a lot of things. I am divine light, manifesting as Karen, here in this earth plane, right here, right now. I am powerful. I am, you know, all of the positive things that I can think of. I use the I am in front because I'm a part of that I am, that God light, you know. So, yeah, those are the kinds of things that I do a lot. Liquid light is I think, my favorite one that I do all the time. And because I'm always, how do I put that? I am always, how do I put that? To keep it from being a negative and put it in a positive state, my lungs are forever being in a healing state. They're compromised from time to time. From the, I don't know what it is, just part of life. And so I'm always using some type of a healing mantra in my being all the time, because I know that whatever it is, if it's my thoughts that are trying to go astray, I have to heal them. You know, if it's my sneezing, coughing, whatever, you know, it's a healing mantra. So I would say that healing mantras are the ones that I use the most, and the I am mantras. I am divine light. I am God manifesting. I am divine. I am hope. I am joy. I am peace. I am love. I am all of those things. Anything that's positive, I want that to be a part of what I am. And that's what I say. Yeah.
Moon or stars?
Moon. I'm a moon child. Yeah.
Scuba diving or skydiving?
Neither. I'm not jumping out of a plane if I can help it. God says so. Hey, I'll do it. But Spirit's got to go with me. And scuba diving, I'm not going under the water like that.
No. You had such a great time when you were baptized.
Yeah, I love the water. I'll get in it. I go to the hot tub. I go into and get the water and play in it or whatever. But I stay, because I never learned to swim. The story about that was my mom. We were on the beach when I was a little girl, and I never got past this. She was afraid of the water. So let's say from here, way out there somewhere outside the buildings where she'd sit on the beach, the water would be way down there and we'd be way up here. So I played in the sand, right? So when I got older, I said, I'm not going to do this to my children. So both of my children can swim. Both of my sons, I took them when they were babies. You know, I took them, put them in the water, let them learn how to swim. But I never learned how to swim. For whatever reason, I just don't know. There's certain things I just didn't do. And because of that, I'm not ashamed of it. I don't regret it to this point. I think maybe just a teeny bit, I might have wanted to learn how to swim because I would have enjoyed the water more. But I do it at a distance, so I love the water.
We need to take you to the pool and teach you how to swim.
Yeah,
It would change your life. You would enjoy it.
I believe it would.
You would enjoy it. You could just float around. And
Yeah.
it becomes a great thing. Well, close us out with a little bit of wisdom from Karen. What kind of message might you give if you knew there was going to be something that was broadcast to the world out on YouTube about Karen Hunter Watson? What do you have a message or some type of something you're led to talk about?
Always be the best of who you are. Always, first of all, know who you are. I would say, know the God in you. Know the very best of yourself. Know who that person is, and then begin to use that to go forth and do the things in life that you've been called to do. I believe that if every person on this planet was to do exactly what they were being called to do, I believe this world would be the best place in the world to live. I really believe that. When you're called to something and you say yes to it, and you know it's just digging in your gut, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And when you do it, especially if it's connected with someone else, if you're just doing it for yourself, it's all right because you're the best you can be. I am being the best person I can be. And if everybody on the planet is the best they can be, we've got a wonderful place to live in. So to me, I say know who you are, love who you are, and be who you are.
Amen.
Be the best of you can be.
Karen Hunter Watson, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Will.
It is.
Appreciate that.
It's amazing the little friendship that we've been able to develop and the
Yeah.
time we've spent together and
Yeah.
singing songs side by side with you and A Course in Miracles classes and things. That I really appreciate your presence and I feel your love. Can I give you a big hug?
Of course you
Yay!
can. Thank you. Let me stand up. No bother.
Thank you.
All right.